All right, this is going to be a real challenge. We're challenging ourselves. Are you ready?
Yes. So we are filming today's video with no cuts, no edits.
Yeah, we'll see. I might say some words like and.
Okay.
No.
Is that how we're starting it?
I'm just kidding. Anyway, we thought today we'd go back in time because it's been a long time since we met each other.
Mm-hmm.
You ready to go
How
back?
long has it been? 7 years. Almost 7 years.
Almost 7 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Long time.
Congratulations, babe.
Yeah.
We're rocking and rolling. All those haters out there.
Oh my gosh.
You're wrong. Here we are.
I mean, there's still plenty of time for them to be.
That's true.
It depends on what they're wrong about.
Yeah, they're gonna be wrong. I already know.
No, they're gonna be wrong. I'm just kidding. No, so when we started our channel, we got a lot of comments about me being Cole's therapist and how it was illegal that we were dating, or I was his nurse, and I still see to this day when people comment, "How did they meet?" or "How did you guys meet?" or whatever, someone comments and says, "Oh, I think she was his therapist." And I'm like, no, I was never Cole's therapist.
Yeah, however, we were breaking lots of laws together.
No, we weren't. Oh my gosh.
No laws were broken.
Well, we did hide our relationship. Anyway, we'll go into that. We'll go into that.
Yeah.
But for people who don't know how we met, we're gonna retell it. There is a video that it was like our third video, a long time ago.
Yeah, production quality isn't quite what it is today on that video.
No.
That was our second video ever, I think.
Was it?
I think it was.
Second or third or something?
Second or third.
Yeah.
And you can tell.
Yeah. Yeah, the audio wasn't great. We were in like the city. It was just not a well-produced video. So we're gonna retell it and also see how well we remember how we met.
That's true, because it has been a long time now. I don't remember as well. My memory sucks. But let me tell my version.
Okay.
Okay, so here I am, a young boy, trying to break out of a shell that he put himself in.
How old?
Why am I using the third person?
I'm not really sure. You're being a storyteller.
Yeah.
How old were you? Say that.
Was I 22?
I think you were 22, yeah.
22. So I'm fresh out of college.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. College was not a great period for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really look back on college like, woo! I kind of look back on college like,
Ooh.
Okay.
My deep voice. Ooh.
I didn't really put myself out there. I didn't really like join groups. I did like the bare minimum and went to sports events. That's pretty much all I did.
Yeah.
Which meant I only went on one date all throughout college, which was right at the end of senior year.
Mm-hmm.
And it went well. And I was like, whoa, the date went well. I was like, cool. But leaving college, graduating, I wanted to like continue dating. And so I dated someone that I met through social media or something.
No. Before you even go into that person, you went on dates. I think there's a misconception that Cole did not have interest from other women.
I wasn't trying in college, which is why I didn't go on dates. As soon as I started trying, I got dates.
Like once you got out of college, there was a couple of dates you went on. Mm-hmm. I wasn't your first like girl that was interested in you and you settled for me because there was no other girl. Like that was not the case at all.
Yeah.
You had options. So please tell everyone that because that assumption is very annoying.
Well, I did cancel another date for my date with Charisma. Because I was like, I think it's gonna be her. I think she's the one.
And yeah.
So I canceled that date.
I was gonna say who. I'm not even gonna say that. Go ahead.
Not naming names.
No, I wasn't gonna name names. I was gonna say that we worked at similar places.
Anyway, before this moment though, I met another person through social media, and we started dating. Like we were Facebook official and everything. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that just didn't work out. We wanted different things from a relationship.
And y'all dated for a month or more than a month, maybe 2 months. I don't know.
Whatever it was.
Probably the same amount of time as my previous person. So.
Yeah. It did not go very well, ended pretty quickly, but it reaffirmed that being in a relationship was something I wanted. Mm-hmm. So I was like, well, I'm going to keep putting myself out there. And so here I go, swiping on Bumble.
You have Bumble?
I had the apps, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know. I mean, I did too, but I didn't know that.
But it was not through Bumble.
No.
That, or any of those apps that the sparks were found.
Mm-hmm. You have something in your nose.
I have something in my nose? You just told me?
Yeah, I just noticed. Okay, I got it.
Are they going to be able to see it?
No, I think it's hair. I think it's a blonde hair.
It's a blonde hair.
A blonde nose hair. And it looked like a booger, but it wasn't.
Are they going to see it?
No, I don't think they can see it. Sorry.
We just trimmed my face. Maybe it's a...
It could be. Okay, anyway. What were we saying?
So I was saying, we wanted different things out of the relationship, broke up, but I realized I wanted a relationship, so I looked for the sparks. Mm-hmm. And I found them in an unusual or unexpected place.
Okay, so
here, in comes
Tell your version of how we met, because then you prefaced everything.
So I am taking note of beautiful women around me at this time. Mm-hmm. And so I'm coming into my workouts where I feel very comfortable. Like, I have a friendship with my therapists, which are just like physical therapists that a personal trainer, you go to the gym.
Yeah.
Charisma is walking around working, doing her job with the patients. I'm not a patient. I'm a patient person in general. But I wasn't a patient of the hospital. So Charisma is helping. And I will say this, I can tell just by looking at Charisma, she already checks a lot of the boxes. She moves with a purpose. She works hard. She's friendly with her patients. Everyone seems to like her. And my therapist gave the approval. Uh-huh. They vouched for you.
Yeah.
John and Anna. So I believed them. And I was like, she is very attractive and seems nice. And maybe I should say hey.
Yeah, and that's what he did. You said hey. Uh-huh. That's exactly what happened.
Yes.
But I will say, you kind of made it seem like you were going into therapy searching for a woman. Were you?
No.
Okay.
No, I was working on myself to better myself and be more confident and stuff. But I wasn't going to the hospital and
I know, no. You just knew that you could meet potentially someone that you would want to date anywhere you were out in public. So you're putting yourself out there in public, in different public spaces, with an open mind.
Right. I wasn't going to find anybody through the apps. I could tell that. I'm going to need to strike a normal...
genuine conversation.
Yeah, make a normal, conventional connection with someone and explore from there.
Like a physical first impression.
Yeah. And I love meeting people in person. I feel like it's much easier, as a disabled person, to make a good impression... make a first impression that you want when you can talk to them and meet them in person. Mm-hmm. I think people will draw their own impressions by looking at pictures online. Mm-hmm. So I always kind of had a feeling that the person I met and the person that was for me would be someone I met in real life. So I put myself out in the world. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It worked.
Yeah, it did work. So want to hear... Well, okay... now I'll tell my version a little bit of where I was before we met, and then we can collectively...
Well, can I get to the FES bike part? Because that was a part of it for me, too.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I was very nervous about how I was coming across to her, because, this is me coming into the gym to work out and, get my sweat on. I don't really sweat much, but, exert myself. Mm-hmm. And at one point, I'm on the FES bike, and Charisma comes over to help out John and Anna.
FES is the...
functional electrical stimulation bike.
So he puts...
It's hard to say with my aligners in.
They put pads on his legs so his legs can move. It helps maintain muscle mass in your legs.
It's shocking my legs.
Yes.
So Charisma was assigned to come over and reach into my pants and pull these pads off that are shocking my muscles. Yeah. I'm like, no, this is not what I want. This is not the impression I'm trying to give. Mm-hmm. But fortunately, Charisma is cool. So it didn't even register to her.
No. And then what did you ask me then?
I asked her if she had a date to the gala or gala.
Whatever you say.
And she said yes, and I was very sad.
But, okay, yeah.
But then she told me who it was, which was my therapist, Paige. So it was not romantic. And I was very happy again. And so I went into that gala with a mission. Mm-hmm.
Did you, though? Because it didn't feel like that. That's
my tactic.
It wasn't a mission for me, though. It was a mission to make business connections, because that's what you do when you go to those kind of events.
You told me something different. You said you had your eyes. You waited for me after the game.
I had the mission. You didn't have a mission to approach me, I don't think.
I had many missions.
He had a lot of missions. But galas for Cole are not let me try to get a girl moments. They're let me try to get a business deal and make connections, because that's how Cole's brain operates in those moments.
Network.
Not a business deal, network. Yeah.
I like networking. And if we ever went back to Richmond, all those connections will come in handy.
Yeah.
But no, I was definitely also paying close attention to Charisma, but I was being cool about it. You gotta be cool.
Yeah, I'll tell my version of the story. Okay, so I don't want to be too quick because this is no edits, and I forgot we're not doing edits. This is gonna be so long.
Sorry, we're just hanging out, guys.
Yeah, it feels like alive.
Yeah.
Anyway, so before I met Cole, so the year before I met Cole, I got out of a really, really crappy 5-year relationship. Terrible relationship. And then I was trying to work on myself, and then I met someone else who I dated for a short period of time. Wasn't meant to be, fine guy, whatever, wasn't meant to be. And I was determined to be single. I was working on myself. I was in the gym. I loved myself. I loved my life, and I just wanted to be me.
Fitness. She's a witness. Ooh-wee.
That's the song.
I put them boys on rock. They'll be riding down the block just to.
Okay. You're singing for Delicious, but it was just not a great.
My brain. I'm sorry.
Usually we edit moments like this out. Anyway. So I was very adamant about not dating anyone. I didn't really want to date anyone. And then I'm working. I'm not going to work looking for a partner ever. And so I never noticed Cole. And we had been at the hospital a lot of moments at the same time and didn't notice. There's a picture on Facebook of Cole in the exoskeleton, and then there's a patient behind him who was my full-time patient. The whole time he was there. So I knew I was like inches from that photo. I just wasn't in the photo, but I knew I was right beside him.
Yeah.
So it's wild. We crossed paths so many times, and the only reason I noticed him is because my coworker was gossiping about his new girlfriend. And I was like, oh, who's Cole? Didn't know who he was. So that's how I found out who Cole was. I found him on Instagram, and I was like, oh, wow, he's really cute. And then I started noticing when he was there because I knew who he was.
Yeah.
And then he did the whole hey, caught me off guard because I'm working. I'm not expecting someone to flirt with me at work. So it was very weird, yeah. And I was caught off guard. And then I purposefully went to his gym with his therapist and asked if they needed a hand because my impatient side, you were done working at 3 p.m. but I had to stay until like 5. But we were pretty much done at 3, so it was always just whatever you wanted. Like we were just
and I would always work out in the afternoon. So all of a sudden Charisma was free to come pop by.
Yeah, so I wanted to make my presence known because I thought he was really cute, and I was like, oh, okay.
I just remembered something else.
What?
Go ahead, finish.
Oh my, no, go ahead, insert it, because is it around this timeline?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if we should even put this in the video.
Is this well, you can't edit it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go for it and hope for the best. One thing that was very embarrassing when I would go to workouts is because I don't have control over my bodily function.
Oh.
Which are responding to stimulus.
Yeah.
There were occasions where, in my athletic shorts, I'd pitch a bit of a tent.
Yes. Did I notice that, are you saying?
I don't know if you did, but there were times when John were like, hey, let's maybe like sit up or lean forward or something.
Oh, yeah. John was always looking out for you.
Yeah, because just like doing my exercises, like leaning forward and backward, my body is responding. I can't control that.
Yeah.
But here I am in the middle of a public space with people like walking around and stuff, and then someone I'm interested in coming over, I'm like, dude, help me out, John. What's going on, man?
Yeah, but that's the thing, though.
Spasming.
I don't... Like, for Cole, that is like such a big deal, but we saw that all the time in therapy. So many people, like, it just was a part of what it was. And so if I ever even noticed that on you, it literally was like, oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Because it's just normal.
It's just embarrassing for a young man to be exposed like that.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't exposing myself, but...
I know what you mean.
Anyway,
back to my story. So that was a random insert that we probably would have edited out, but
here we are.
Here we are. So, back to the FES bike. So I was bored. I wanted Cole to notice me more, and so I purposefully went over there and asked if John and Anna needed anything. They said, yeah, can you get Cole off the bike? And they knew what they were doing too. They could have asked me to do so many other things.
They knew what you were doing, so they just facilitated.
Kinda, they might have.
I thought you talked about it at lunch.
No, not really. We talked about it after the gala. But no, John told me to get you off the bike, and I was like, no, don't make Charisma do that. And he goes, no. And so John was definitely wingmanning hard. Anyway,
Shout out John.
got Cole off the bike. It literally was nothing. It was just a moment for me to talk to him.
Yeah.
Then he asked me about the gala. We go to the gala. My intention was to try to talk to Cole, but it didn't really happen that way. I talked more to his mother and his grandmother than I did him.
Yep.
Especially grandmother. I talked to Grand Ann for a good 10 minutes.
Grand Ann's awesome.
She's great.
She's a great conversationalist.
She is. And she was so interested in me, in my life.
Yeah, and of course my mom was probably also trying to wingman.
Well, your mom was trying to get me to sit at the table with you guys. So my table was right next to Cole's table.
Of course she was.
And Cole's mom was like, come sit over here. So according to Kelly, she pursued me before you pursued me. It was a very similar timing. It was very close. Like it was within like days of each other, but y'all pursued me at the same time.
So me and my mom were pursuing you. That's great. That's great. I had to fight against my mom.
And then I wanted to go home, but I wanted to talk to Cole. Sorry, I wanted to talk to Cole. So I waited longer than I wanted to at the gala to finally talk to Cole for 5 minutes because he was too busy talking to everyone else. So I definitely did not feel like I was a priority. Yeah. So it's interesting that you said that I was.
Well, yeah. I was casting a wide net that night.
With everyone.
With everyone. Mm-hmm. And like that is, I at one point I was kind of heading towards the hospital world in terms of just like my life path. Mm-hmm. And so that's a great opportunity for me to meet the CEO of the hospital or the development leader and executives and talk and this and that.
It was perfect though because you were heavily involved with the new hospital build. So you connecting with people that night in every gala, was beneficial, and I totally get it.
It was also just an awesome room of people. Yeah. Everybody involved with Sheltering Arms is pretty dope.
It's a great hospital.
So, yes, I did have a lot of interest in you. And that's why when I got home that night, I checked my social medias. Sure enough, look who it is. Charisma has followed me and liked one of my pictures.
I don't think I liked any of your pictures.
I think it was one.
One picture?
I think you liked one.
Okay. And then you followed me back and
or you just followed me.
I think I just followed you.
Maybe you just followed me and then I liked one of yours.
You liked like 3 of my pictures.
3. Okay, I went for 3. Because I remember like strategically doing it, like kind of spacing them out, not going too far back so I look like a weirdo, but showing some interest.
Yeah, but also liking pictures that were more badass. No, you didn't like those pictures because there were some pictures in there that you could have liked. But you didn't.
It would have made my intentions too clear.
You liked more of the cute pictures, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I love cute charisma. I also love bad charisma.
Not saying I had like risque pictures, but there were like some pictures that were more.
A basketball picture?
Yeah, they were more like attention grabbing.
Yes. So I liked some of those. Mm-hmm. Charisma liked some back.
Yes.
And that gave me all the info I needed to slide into the DMs.
So the night of the gala, after we left the gala, I followed him immediately and that whole exchange happened and then he DM'd me, got my number that night, and then the rest is history. We literally, I swear, we started dating the night of the gala. That's how it feels.
It was quick. Yeah, she came over to my house soon after that for a little bonfire. That I hadn't even organized yet. I asked her to come to something that didn't exist.
Yeah. So we started off with a lie.
I started off by lying to Charisma, but I made true on the lie by creating an event.
You did create an event.
So that I could hang out with her.
Yeah.
And it worked. Mm-hmm. And then I asked her on another date. But I will say my tactic in the beginning was to be very friendly and get her to know me first.
Yeah.
And she wasn't even sure I was all the way invested.
No, so when Cole invited me to the bonfire, I'm not showing up at a bonfire with a random guy's bonfire that I barely knew. So I brought my friend. I would never do that. And my friend was like, so should I look out for any signs? Is he interested? And I was like, I don't know. I'm honestly not sure because he doesn't give off strong flirtatious vibes. So I thought I was getting friend zoned.
Yeah, I know. And that was a lot of my, I had a lot of growing to do. I'm still growing today. But at that time, especially, excuse me.
Well,
I felt that come up.
Yeah. Usually we edit those out too.
Sorry.
So there's a lot of those typically.
But at that time, especially, I could feel myself kind of breaking free of the cocoon. Mm-hmm. And I still didn't have a ton of confidence. I was faking it. And there is the confidence somewhere deep in me, but I was also very nervous still because charisma is the full package. And I, have a lot of insecurities about myself and my disability, especially at that time.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to come on too hot and heavy where she would be considering all of those things too much. I just wanted to get her to know me. And fortunately, she was very interested in getting to know me.
Yeah. So from my perspective, I didn't, it's just weird because it just wasn't a thing. I worked with people who were in wheelchairs on a daily basis. I literally fixed wheelchairs on a daily basis. It was nothing to me, nothing that would turn me off or stress me out or freak me out. So I just got to know Cole for who he was, and on our first date, we only talked about ourselves. We may have mentioned your injury once, but it was...
I think you waited till I opened the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember you being really respectful, etiquette-wise and stuff about my injury and disability.
Yeah, well, I didn't really... It wasn't the most important thing to me. I wanted to know about you. Where did you go to school? What did you study? What do you like? Those kind of things. Not how did you break your neck? What can you touch? What can you feel? Those kind of questions came later when we got closer and became more intimate. Then I wanted to know, what can you feel? That kind of stuff. But before, it was just the basic getting to know you questions.
It was very different than the first date I had with the previous girlfriend who had me take a psychopath test.
She's never going to watch this video, so it's okay.
Yeah, so you can see why maybe that one didn't work out.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting, definitely different.
Yeah, teach their own.
So here we are, 7 years later.
Here we are, 7 years later.
And that is the truth. I was never Cole's therapist. No. Cole didn't really have a therapist. It was more like Cole said, personal trainers. I am not even a therapist. I was a rehab technician, so I was just a tech at that point.
But we were two little dust specks in the universe that happened to bump up into each other at the right time and fuse and to become one bigger speck of dust. We're a dope speck. And then we got Sophie and made our little dust bigger.
I was gonna say, my brain was thinking when you were saying that.
What?
I was agreeing though, I think if we had met any other time, it wouldn't have made sense.
Yeah.
If I had met Cole, because funny story, I was going to go to U of R to minor in Portuguese because my school didn't have it. And if I would have met Cole, that's the school Cole went to. If I would have met Cole at U of R, it wouldn't have worked out. We would have been friends, and then I would have just friend zoned him, and it would have never worked out because
I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready.
True, that too. Yeah, Cole wasn't ready, but I was also dating someone, and so I wasn't available anyway. And then earlier that year that we met, I was dating someone again, and a guy just wasn't available. You just met me at the perfect time where I was open.
And it's funny because we had probably crossed paths many times throughout life because I was big in volleyball, the women's volleyball world.
He's definitely seen me play volleyball.
Yeah.
And we just didn't know.
And years before we met at Sheltering Arms.
Yep.
Which is kind of cool.
You most likely played basketball with my little brother.
I probably locked him down. Yeah. Probably scored a lot of points on him.
Yep. Y'all, I'm sure he was taller than you at that point too.
Probably, but he's lanky. I got the beef.
No, it's funny. We definitely crossed paths. Because the school that he went to, his high school, I knew some people that went to that high school. I was always near Cole's neighborhood, hanging out with people because I knew a lot of the same friends he had. Yeah. It's my church was 5-minute drive from his house. It's just wild.
It is wild. I'm glad when we met when we did though. It was the perfect timing. All the circumstances were right.
Yeah.
And it's led to a beautiful relationship.
Yes.
And a happy ever after.
Yay. We had a very organic meeting story.
Yes. I'm glad about that.
Me too.
Good job.
Thankful for Instagram though because it helped connect. Instagram kind of brought us together. What
emotion comes to mind when you think about our like first dates?
Emotion?
Mm-hmm. How do you feel like if you really think about it?
Like cheery, like giddy maybe?
Giggly?
Giddy? Yeah. I think, cause I felt so young. I was young. I was 23. You were 22. It was such a first date that I'd never had before. I've gone on many first dates. And it was definitely a very unique one because we just had a connection instantly. I've never connected with someone so easily and quickly in my freaking life.
Yeah, it's called charisma.
You have it?
No, you have it. You're it.
You're it. You have
Yeah,
it too, literally. You
I
have
have
it.
you.
You have me.
Yeah.
No, we had a good connection. What about you?
I don't know if there's a name for this. Maybe in another language, there's like a word for this feeling. But I think back of it as a time of like breaking free. I don't know. Looking back, like you were kind of like the transition point where I think my life started going in a way better, different direction. Mm-hmm. In terms of growth, in terms of happiness, in terms of fulfillment, in terms of purpose.
Yeah.
So whatever that word is, like that's what I think back, and like which is a very opposite or contrasting feeling than college, because college I felt like was obligatory, perfunctory, like I just had to do it because that's what was expected of someone my age, and I didn't. There's not much joy in those memories.
Yeah.
But ever since I meet you, I feel like my world became more colorful.
Yeah. Ever since you met me.
Yeah. What did I say?
Ever since I meet you.
Ever since I met you, my world is just more comfortable and more full and vivacious and full.
I feel the same, for sure. Yeah. I always tell Cole this. I wish we went to the same college, because if I had run into Cole in college, we would have been the best of friends. I would have made sure he did this, did that. I would have gotten you out of your comfort zone so much. But you know what?
I always needed you.
But it's okay. You had the college experience that was meant for you.
Okay.
There were some good moments in college.
It's probably good that I was disabled in college, because if I were not disabled, college could have been very reckless.
He would have been a little...
It would have been bad.
You ain't nothing but a dog. Play. I get it. No, probably. That's kind of nice.
So here we are. The best thing I ever did for myself was become disabled and meet charisma. So if you ever want to turn your life around, I recommend breaking your neck and finding charisma.
Sorry, no, not recommended. No typing.
Disclaimer: not a paralysis expert. Anyway.
Yes, you are a paralysis expert. You kidding me?
That's true. Okay, well, yeah, that's the story.
Yeah.
How do you think we did with the no cut?
I think it's just the real us having a conversation. It's just like one of our lives. I feel like we're kind of like this in our lives too. Except that we know people are watching when we're live. We know that you aren't watching necessarily while we're filming. So it's a different feeling.
Yeah, sometimes I just stop to think, and I'm like, oh wait, I need to continue talking.
Because you're talking about a live right now.
Right now.
Yeah, because you know I can cut that.
Right.
But nope, no cutting.
No cutting. This is it. Mm-hmm. But thanks for watching.
Are we done?
Yeah, I thought so.
Okay.
Or do you think we're done?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know if there's anything else we wanted to talk about. This is what we always do at the end of every video. Cole cuts it, and I'm like, wait, are we done for sure? And then But I think we're done.
I think we're done.
We talked about our meeting story. If you want to see our...
I was gonna recommend.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, what's it called? It's called How We Met.
How We Met. It's literally called How We Met.
There you go. Cole and Charisma, How We Met. Boom.
Yeah, you should watch it and see. We're gonna watch it too and see how well we told the story.
Yeah.
We've told it so many times. I feel like we tell it the same.
That's actually the intro video we have. Is when we filmed that, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Oh, or is that never mind. Anyway.
No, that's a new. That was old. That was our. That was our very short phase of a very sitcom intro that we no longer do.
Oh, you're thinking of that one.
Oh, yes.
I was thinking of our other one that we're still using.
Oh.
Dun, dun, when you're riding on my lap.
Yeah, it's from that.
It goes forward and backwards.
It's from that, yeah.
Can't believe we still use that.
We need a new intro.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and stay
positive. Woo!
Thanks for watching our no cut video.
Wait, is it cut?
Is that a cut?
Is it?
When do we cut?